Good day everyone, I'm Junel Torino. For this video, I'm going to discuss about physical self and the topic that including physical self, which is stages of life span and factors affecting physical growth and development. But before that, let's define first what is physical self. What is physical self? Physical self refers to the body that includes basic parts such as legs, head, arm, and neck, made up of other organs such as brain, heart, intestine, and stomach. The organs that we couldn't see is also part of our physical self. And these organs work together to perform different functions such as walking, breathing, and dancing. All of this is play important role in our everyday life. As we say, physical self is about the body and his ability to perform function which change throughout the year. In general, the body performs function less during infancy and old age. These two ends. In infancy stage, our body doesn't perform well, and gradually, when we grow old, our body decreases ability to perform well. Physical efficiency generally peaks in early adulthood and declines in middle age. So, our age today is in the peak that our body perform well, but around middle age, our body lessens its ability to perform well. From our physical development and growth, during childhood continue at a slow rate compared with a rapid rate of growth in babyhood. So, in this babyhood, our body rapidly changes and also rapidly growth that happens in our physical body. Also, they say that one of the most crucial stage of development is the adolescence. So, the reason why it is crucial because we experience a lot of changes during adolescence or puberty stage. What is adolescence? When we say adolescence, begins with the onset of puberty. Adolescence is a transitional stage of physical and psychological development that generally occurs during period from puberty to adulthood. Adolescence is usually associated with teenage years, but physically, psychologically, and culturally, expression may begin earlier and end later. So, in this part of adolescence, dito natin mapapansin na may pagbabago na nagaganap sa ating sarili. For example, sa mga babae, nagkakaroon sila ng mga menstruational period at sa lalaki naman ay nagkakaroon sila ng pagbabago sa kanilang boses. At ito ang kadalasan na nangyayari kapag nagdadalaga at nagbibinata. This stage is characterized by rapidly change that includes the maturation of reproductive system. Lifespan. What is lifespan? So, lifespan is the development from conception of death. So, it means from fertilization stage, it includes lifespan. Stages of Lifespan by Elizabeth B. Harlock. Stages of lifespan according to Elizabeth Harlock, which she divided into 10 parts or 10 stages. So, this is the 10 stages of lifespan according to Elizabeth B. Harlock. So, we are done with our first topic, which is lifespan, and let's proceed to factors affecting physical growth and development. So, the first factors affect the physical growth and development is heredity. It's a biological process of transmission of traits from parents to offspring. Sa madaling salita, namamana ng mga anak ang mga ugali ng mga magulang sa pamamagitan ng dugo or genes. So the second factor affecting physical growth and development is environment. It refers to the factor which the individual is exposed after conception of death, which includes learning and experience. So dito sa environment na to, dito tayo nakaka-develop ng mga ugali na galing sa iba sa pamamagitan ng pakikipaghalubilo or interaction. Explain the importance of studying different kind of self. It is important to study different kinds of self to know what improvement you are needed and what development you have done, and it is also important to better know about yourself. That's all. Thank you. So that's all for physical self. I hope you learned, and thank you.
My name is Genesis C. Labajo, BSBA 1A. The topic assigned to me is economic self. So let's start. There are three components of my presentation. The following are: first, material economic self; second, William James; third, material self. We regard our possessions as part of ourself. We are what we have and what we possess. Blake 1988. Economic self. We oftentimes describe a person depending on what he or she have. We attach our happiness on the things that we have and buy. Additionally, people are likely to purchase product that he can relate to their personality. Material process signify some aspect of one sense of self and identify having investment of self. The things made us attach to those things. The more investment of self is given to the particular thing, the more we identify ourselves to it. We also have the tendency to collect and possess properties. The possessions of material things also indicate one's status in the society. This personal choice builds one's material and economic self, which is an extension of his or her social identity. William James was known as a psychologist and philosopher who had a major influence on the development of psychology in the United States. Among his many accomplishments, he was the first to teach a psychology course in US and often referred to the father of American psychology. Material self. Material self is made up of everything that a person who like his or her car, house, clothes, or even her family and friends. As stated by William James, the self is all thing a person believes to be her or her and contribute to his or her material self. For example, I own a gadget, shoes, and clothes. All of these will be contribution to my material self. Somehow, material self is a reflection of someone's success or failure, or a symbol of one's social status. Thus, no matter how much or how little a person who materially, they will always strive hard to gain more. The material self consists of things that belong to a person or entities that a person belong to. Those things like the body, family, clothes, money, and such make up the material self. There are the three things of material self. First is body, second is clothes, and lastly, immediate family and home. Body. The physical body is the innermost part of the material self. Make sure our body function properly and to make it look good. The secondary part of our material self is our clothing. Clothes can be express ourselves that you are beautiful. Immediate family and home. Our immediate family is the extension of ourselves. Losing them is like a part of who you are.
the sexual zone. Humans are born either male or female. If an egg is fertilized with a sperm carrying the X chromosomes, the gonads should develop into ovaries and the offsprings will be female. But if the egg is fertilized with a sperm carrying Y chromosomes, the gonads should develop into testes and the offspring will be male. Two types of sex characteristics. The first one is the primary sex characteristics and the other one is the secondary sex characteristics. The first one is primary sexual characteristics. Primary sexual characteristics are present at birth and comprise the external and internal genitalia. Example of this is the penis and the testes in males and the vagina and ovaries in females. The other hand is secondary sex characteristic or adolescence. Adolescence is the time between the beginning of sexual maturation or puberty and adulthood. It is a time of physiological maturation which a person becomes adult-like in behavior. Adolescence is considered to be the period between age 13 and 19. It includes maturation of reproductive system and development of different sex characteristics. For women, the earliest evidence of puberty are the enlargement of breasts, menstrual cycle, widening of hips, enlargement of buttocks, and growth of pubic hair. For men, testicular growth, sperm production, appearance of facial and pubic and other body hair, and deepening of boys are some of the first signs of puberty. Hormones. Hormones move through your bloodstream and organs to help regulate vital functions such as growth and development, sexual function and fertility, metabolism, mood and stress, and lastly, body temperature. There are three types of hormones. These are the most common. The first one is testosterone, the other one is progesterone, and estrogen. Testosterone is a hormone that is responsible for many of the physical characteristics specific to adult males. It plays a key role in reproduction and the maintenance of bone and muscle and strength. The progesterone. The ovaries, adrenal glands, and placenta produce the hormone progesterone. Progesterone levels increase during the ovulation and spike during pregnancy. Progesterone helps stabilize menstrual cycle and prepares the body for pregnancy. Having a low level of progesterone can lead to irregular periods, difficulty conceiving, and a higher risk of complication during pregnancy. The third one is estrogen. Estrogen is probably the most well-known sex hormone, although the majority of estrogen production occurs in the ovaries. The adrenal glands and the fat cells produce small amounts of estrogen too. Estrogen plays a crucial role in reproductive and sexual development. Erogenous zones. Erogenous zones are parts of the body that excite sexual feelings when touched or stimulated. They may be genital or extragenital. It includes mouth, breast, neck, thighs, and genitals. Sexual response. Sexual response cycle, pattern of physiological events occurring during sexual arousal and intercourse. In both men and women, this event may be identified as occurring in a sequence of 4 stages. The first one is excitement, by 2, orgasm, and resolution. The first stage of sexual response is excitement. When a person is becoming sexually excited, sexual arousal usually begins in the brain. The brain sends message throughout the body to prepare us for sex. This arousal can be stimulated by thoughts, fantasy, conversation, smell, touch, taste, sounds, sights, etc. The next is plateau. This phase can take a person to a level of altered consciousness. It's often referred to as the heat of the moment or the throes of passions. It can feel incredibly intoxicating and be difficult to make intentional decisions at this point in the response cycle. Next is orgasm. Orgasm is an intense, pleasurable feeling that occurs at the end of the plateau phase. Orgasm is usually the most intense peak of the sexual response cycle. It is also the shortest of all phases in the cycle. It occurs when the sexual and muscular tension, especially those in the pelvis, build up and release in a series of quick pleasurable contractions. It is the peak of the sexual arousal and it also called the climax. The last stage, resolution. The end stage of sexual arousal is called resolution. During the resolution period, a relaxation of the muscle as well as physiologically will occur. The blood that has moved into the genitals will drain out slowly. The body returns to the way it was before sexual arousal. Resolution happens whether or not someone experiences an orgasm.
Hello everyone, good day. By the way, I am Giovanni Arbit. I'll be talking about spiritual self. I will discuss first what is the spiritual self. According to William James, the spiritual self is the most intimate, inner subjective part of self. It is the most intimate version of the self because of satisfaction. Experience when one thinks of one's ability to argue and discriminate, of one's moral sensibility and conscience, of our conquerable will is poorer than all other sentiments of satisfaction. The spiritual aspects of the self is the inner essence, the part of the self that connects the person to the sacred, the supernatural, and the universe. People develop spirituality through interaction, observation, and imitation. The family, school, and the church play a very important role in the child's spiritual development. What is the meaning of spirituality? The root meaning of spirituality is taken from the Latin word spiritus, meaning breath or life force. Spirituality can be understood as a search for the sacred, a process through which people seek to discover, hold onto, and when necessary transform whatever they hold sacred in their lives. The sacred code refer God and transcendence. The term spirituality originally developed in early Christianity. Christians use the term spirit to describe the Holy Spirit. In Christian ethics, the experience of the sacred is characterized by reverence, faith, fear, trust, love, and admiration, which is intimately connected to God. Worship is regarded as an essential act to realize the ultimate meaning of transcendence and human life. Acts of worship may include prayer, reading the Bible, attending sacraments, and going sacrifices. Through acts of faith, hope, and love, man is able to encounter God and understand God's words of salvation. The importance of understanding and nurturing the spiritual self. Understanding and nurturing the spiritual self is as important as the other aspect of the self. Understanding and developing awareness of the spiritual self gives the person a feeling or oneness with God and the universe. It also gives a deeper purpose or meaning of one's life. All religions recognize the importance of spirituality in one's life. Spirituality is connected with religion. To know God is the central function of religion. Religious belief and practice make people closer to God. What are the manifestations of the spiritual self? These are person's will, intelligence and abilities, morals, and values. First is person's will. Things the person want to achieve in their lives. Second, intelligence and abilities. Things that the person have confidence in doing and believe to have a certain mastery of. Third is morals. Things that are acceptable for a person's definition of what is right and wrong. And the last, values. The ability of the person to prioritize based on what is important to him. So this manifestation help a person to make life decision. Now let's discuss religion and the other terms. These are religion, worldview, and spirituality. First is religion. Belief and behaviors related to spiritual reality or supernatural beings and powers. Second, worldview, collective body of ideas that members of culture generally share concerning the ultimate shape and substance of the reality. And the last, spirituality, concerned with the sacred in an individual manner. The concept of dungan, spirit or soul. The term animism is one of the oldest beliefs which is taken from the Latin word anima, meaning breath or soul. Animism is the belief that everything in nature living things like trees, plants, and even non-living rocks or streams have their own spirit or divinity. Animistic beliefs are still present, accepted, and never entirely disappeared. Soul or spirit in different regions of the Philippines. Kaluluwa by the Tagalog, Gimukod by the Bagubos, Makato by the Bukidnon, Dungan by the Ilonggos when the is alive, kalag or detached, free when he is dead. Ikararawa by the Ibanags, Kadkadua by the Ilocanos when the soul is in the physical body and it is seen as a constant companion, Karurua when it departs.
This topic is assigned to me, which is the political self. These are the different definitions of politics. Kendall 1993 defines politics as a social institution through which power is acquired and exercised by people and groups. In Aristotle, in his work, Politics, he describes the role that politics and the political community must play in bringing about the virtuous life and the citizenry. He also quoted that man is by nature a political animal. It means the politics an important part of human development because it promotes ideologies about democracy, citizenship, human rights, freedom, family, and other social issues. What is citizenship? It is the most basic identification with the nation. The term denotes the membership of a citizen in a political society. As a citizen, a person enjoys full civil and political rights, including protection inside and outside the territory of state. Article 4, Citizenship. Section 1. In the following are the citizens of the Philippines. Those who are citizens of the Philippines at the time of the adoption of this Constitution. Those whose fathers and mothers are citizens of the Philippines. Third, those born before January 17, 1973 of Filipino mothers who elect Philippine citizenship upon reaching the age of majority, those who are naturalized in accordance with law. In Section 2, natural-born citizens are those who are citizens of the Philippines from birth without having to perform any act to acquire or perfect their Philippine citizenship. In Section 3, Philippine citizenship may be lost or reacquired in the manner provided by law. Section 4. Citizens of the Philippines whom marry aliens shall retain their citizenship unless by their act or omission they are deemed under the law to have renounced it. Section 5. Dual allegiance of citizens is inimical to the national interest and shall be dealt with by law. How to be a good Filipino? First, be an active Filipino citizen. So, in what way will we be active? By helping our fellow man, paying taxes, and voting in elections. Second, study Philippine history. So, as a Filipino, we need to study the history of the Philippines so that we can learn something and we cannot repeat the mistakes that happened in the past. Third, support local products. Fourth, speak the Filipino language. Speaking our language is one of the bases that we are Filipino. 5. Do not spread fake news and be democratic in engaging with dissent. What is cyber disembodiment? Disembodiment is when you for your soul or spirit from your body in the cyber world, you free yourself from your body by not having to show or explain your body online. These are the online disinhibition effect. Dissociate anonymity, invisibility, asynchronicity. Next, dissociative imagination, minimizing authority, personality variables through self constellations across media. Altering self-boundary. The 10 Commandments of Computer Ethics. First, do not use a computer to harm other people. Second, do not interfere with other people's work. Third, do not snoop around in other people's files. Fourth, do not use a computer to steal. Fifth, do not use a computer to bear false witness. 6. Do not use or copy software for which you have not paid. Do not use other people's computer resources without authorization. 8. Do not use other people's intellectual output. Think about the social consequences of the program you write. 10. Use a computer in a ways to show consideration and respect.
It is important to study different kinds of self to know what improvement you are needed and what development you have done, and it is also important to better know about yourself.
It is very important to study the scope of the different types of self so that it can guide us to understand the things that are happening to ourselves. Self-study is important so that we become aware of what we are feeling and doing to ourselves. By learning about ourselves, it also helps us to avoid bad deeds and understand our role in life. By studying this, it will have a great impact on us as a Filipino, and we can also help our country.